See you later, mate. Bye-bye. Trapped in the seatbelt. Fresh out of the bed this morning. It's like midday. To be honest, these days I'm sleeping on, well, I say these days, it's been like 2 years I've been in this schedule. Sleeping at like 4 a.m, between 3 and 5 a.m, and then getting up between like 10 and 11. Really, I still quite like to sleep a lot. I find that I make better decisions, I have more clarity, and I'm just generally there every day. Whereas I find on those days when I don't sleep sufficiently, yeah, like I get a little bit extra done, but the quality of my work, the quality of my decisions, my attention to detail isn't there, and that costs money in business. So I'm trying really hard to sleep sufficiently every single night, which proves harder than it sounds when you got a lot on your plate every day. You know, when you go into bed and your phone's still buzzing, people are still ringing, WhatsApps are still coming through. The one thing I don't do is go to bed with tasks on my to-do list, which is probably why I'm able to sleep quite well, because I'm in the frame of mind of like, I've done my work. The problem with it though is that the communication never ever stops, especially when you're running like 24-hour operations around the world. Because what prime time is in the UK, obviously the US prime time comes in a few hours later. Let's take the OFM stuff for example. We'll literally be super busy in the UK evening, and then just as it starts to die off a little bit, the US market comes in. And obviously we're a pretty big agency, we're running hundreds of creators from all around the world, meaning that we don't really ever sleep as such. There's no nighttime really for us. So that operation is just buzzing all day, every day. The office is bouncing, people are calling, WhatsApps are flying, creators are sending stuff, you know, like all the time, that's go. So it's quite hard to switch off really, to be honest. One thing that I really don't relate to is the guys that get up at like 4, 5 a.m. I have nothing, zero against that. It doesn't make a difference. I always sort of say like, you could wake up at midday like I do, and I guarantee I still will get more done than the majority, just because I have a better work ethic. It has nothing to do with what time I wake up. So I have nothing against the guys that get up at like 4 or 5 a.m. But what I find is that really just doesn't suit me at all. I just can't get up at 4 or 5 a.m. It just isn't in my nature to be awake at those times. After sleeping. Before sleeping maybe, but after sleeping definitely not. It just makes me feel disgusting. I feel sick. I don't know why. I think it's probably because I'm not used to it, but I have given it a good go. I've tried many a time to get up, not at that time, but at like 7, 8, and even then it's just not for me, man. I can't function properly at that time. So for me at the moment, my day-to-day pretty much starts off with wake up and jump straight on the phone. I wouldn't choose to do that if I didn't have to. Open straight, Sport Plus mode, Taycan Turbo S. Fucking hell. I wouldn't choose to lie on my phone. I'd choose to go out and gain some sunlight exposure and, you know, go and start my day optimally. But realistically, I don't have the time to be doing all those fiddly things that might make a difference, but the 1% that I might gain, I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not an athlete anymore. The 1% I stand to gain from that isn't worth the half an hour of my day anymore. You know, it was when I was a full-time athlete a few years ago, but for me now, it's just not worth my time. So I wake up, jump on the phone. Likely I have a few people I need to quickly call around. I likely have 100 plus WhatsApp messages, even though I cleared it before bed. So I have to I don't necessarily have to answer all 100 there and then, but I have to go through them, and I'll at least reply to like 60, 70 of them. Some of the less important ones I can either just read or not reply to there and then I'll jump up and literally just hit the office. I gotta be honest, I'm not like super proactive first thing with shower and gym. I just like to crash at my desk for a couple of hours. I don't really get why. I just prefer, I don't like to shower. I don't even like to brush my teeth. I know it's disgusting, I can't believe I'm admitting that. I like to go downstairs, coffee, Monster, knock out like 2 hours of super high cognition work, because I'm really in the frame of mind to just crack on at that time, and then I don't hit that kind of cognition again until way later in the evening, like gone midnight. So I really make use of it. Then I'll have a shower, brush my teeth. I might have to go out, do some meetings, or at least I might have to do something. It might be that I'm hitting the gym or whatever. I'll often go float off and go and do my proactive stuff in the day then. Or maybe I have like a dinner meeting, in which case I'll just stay at the desk for an extra few hours, and then I'll kind of go and do whatever I need to do, if anything, out and about, and then I'll kind of crash back at the desk and work there right until bedtime. So it's a really exciting day, super, super, super exciting, sitting at the desk every day. Most people look and just think, Christ, how does he live such a life of thrill sat at the desk? But that's the reality of entrepreneurship. You sit at the desk, and frankly you have to learn to love it, which for most people is where they struggle, because they want to think about the exciting parts of business. They don't want to think about the realistic parts of business. And fortunately for me, the realistic part of business is what I love. And that's why ultimately I think I wouldn't say I've had an easier ride, but I've found it easier to be successful because I actually enjoy the process of doing the necessary to be successful. I'm not motivated. Of course I'm motivated by materialistic things, like I'm driving a Taycan Turbo S. I fucking love driving the Lamborghinis. Those sort of things definitely motivate me. However, I would sit at my desk and work regardless of whether I had those things, because for me, sitting at my desk is genuinely my happy place. And I think it's because I associate it with work, success, achievements, and nailing tasks off the list, right? That's genuinely what brings fulfillment to me. Just being able to sit there and just crack on and just get a task done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scribble out on the diary, or if it's a Google Calendar, which I'm moving to, delete, and just kind of work through and just get the task from super full to super empty. I love seeing a task, a to-do list full, and then I also love seeing the same to-do list empty. It just brings a level of fulfillment to me. So that's kind of how my days are structured. Speaking of which, I'm just pulling up at the gym, so I'm going to go and train right now. Today's session is going to be back and triceps. Recently swapped over from doing back and bi, chest and tri, to just back and tri, chest and bi, mainly on the basis that I don't train all that frequently, maybe 5-6 sessions, and I don't get a week, and I don't get that much volume in. And I'll be honest, I don't train with that much intensity either nowadays. So at this stage, I feel like the extra volume that I might get on my triceps when I'm training chest, and vice versa, is a little bit of an extra bit of volume that I wouldn't otherwise get. So currently running up chest and bicep, and then back and tricep. And for those of you that know me from back in the day, you'll remember that I used to take training incredibly seriously, and I was a pretty successful online fitness coach in the competitive space as well. So I think I have a good understanding of training for sure. I definitely know how to train. I know how to structure training sessions. I know how to eat and how to recover, and I just kind of do my best. I'm not optimal by any stretch. My diet could be better, my sleep definitely could be better, and my training could be better. But I work with what I can, which I think is where a lot of people fall short, because they could do more, but they don't. For me, I don't really have the time to put 100% in. I just kind of make do with what I can. But we're in better shape than we were at peak powerlifting off season, which isn't hard, but it's a progress. These new iPhone 15s are really bugging me, because I have to exchange the chargers in all the cars. So all of the cars have a lightning cable. Only logical, right? For a guy that has iPhones, it makes sense. And now I've got to go through and change them to this Mac lead, whatever that is. So that's a real bummer, because I haven't done it on all of them yet, and it means that when I get to the car and I can't charge it or use CarPlay in some of the cars, it's pretty frustrating. But yeah, I've just pulled up to Gym Unity Litchfield. I'm gonna go and train in this session. I've got a bunch to get on with this afternoon. In fact, I'm actually digging into some interesting stuff this afternoon. I'll show you what I mean. Session complete. These days, critics may call it glorified pump chasing. I call it efficient sessions. Half an hour, in and out. 7 exercises. Intense, to be honest. Like, I'm out of breath. So, with that said, who says training has to be a 2-hour thing? I used to train for like 5 hours in some occasions. And it was even long because I was driving 45 minutes into Birmingham to train for that long. So when you think about how much time I used to waste, well, I say waste, it wasn't a waste because it facilitated an opportunity for me to compete internationally and make a living off the back of that, but it was a lot of time dedicated to the gym, right? And in modern times, as a busy man, I just can't commit that anymore. And that's the way that it goes. Now, the reason why I only have 30 minutes to dedicate to the gym these days is because as a CEO, I try and position my day to be jam-packed with lots and lots of different things. I feel that it's my duty to not just be engrossed in one particular task, but in fact to be spread very horizontally. Me and Cam work really well together. He works very vertically. He's very good at just getting the shit done and getting it done well. Whereas I have less of an attention to, I have a worse attention span into any particular task, but I'm far more capable of dealing with a much wider variety of tasks in one go. So I'll spend a lot of my day doing a lot of different things. So I might spend, for example, half an hour doing something with the car finance guys, then I might go and meet the CFO and have a look at the accountancy side of things. The next thing you know, I might be on the phone to a model, then I might be meeting one of our contractors face to face and doing something with them, then I might be meeting a mentorship client, then I might be meeting somebody else, then I might be jumping on the phone and doing something with the marketing team, or I might be on the phone to a creator, assisting them with something. Then I might go and do what I'm about to do now, which is actually fly a million miles an hour into the very, very shop floor of our businesses. So this afternoon, I'm going to actually jump into the inbox management side of the OFM, and I'm actually going to go and just dedicate 3 hours of my afternoon to that. This isn't something that I typically do, you know, I'm not involved in that part of the business no more, but I will still occasionally land in that business to almost gain an insight on how things have changed, how things have adapted, potentially offer suggestions for ways that we can improve, but also to keep in tune with everything that's going on. So many entrepreneurs don't even have a clue what's going on in their own business. I don't get how that's a thing. How can you not be in touch with your own business? So one of the very first things that I'm going to do this afternoon is go a million miles an hour into that and see if we can get a better perspective on what's going on and how we can improve it.